KB3RHR and 1SNG.
W1ZFB.
Yeah, W3MMR. Go ahead, Craig. Good morning.
There, and I'll pass it over to him. Well, I switched Glenn. I got to rotate him, So I'm on the SX68 or SX28 now, which that one hasn't been on in a while. So good to rotate the stock. No smoke came out. That's great. That's positive. I should end my days on positive notes, but that's a pleasure to run that old SX28 here. Mac, good morning to you. Good to hear you. Good signal, man. Everybody's just banging in here this morning. It wasn't that good earlier. But we must be at the special hour now here, so I won't hold it. I'll stand here for one more. Maybe I can get on the list and then get out. But you guys are all doing well here this morning as I rotate the stock. The W1 station, the N1 station, go ahead. And if you would, get it down to WA4DDH. This is KB3RHR, the old military radio net, pre-net, I guess.
This is Whiskey 1 Zulu Fox Baker. I believe you turned it over to me. Good morning. I wanted to get on the free net and get on the list. So, I'm working the ART-13 with the BC-348. So, everybody's sounding pretty good here this morning. So, I'll turn it over to the next station. I kind of missed, as I turned around, I missed who I'm supposed to turn it over to, but I'm sure you heard. W1ZFB.
W3MMR. Good morning.
Yeah, go ahead, Terry. I think Glenn also said he was going to stand by till the net came on. And your father and myself and Craig, I think we're all in standby mode, so pick it up.
Oh, standby mode. Okay, good morning, guys. Now let me back this power down some. Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Bill, Glenn, the other gentleman. I didn't catch the call, the last gentleman there. Well, before Bill, it was ZFB, I think. Good morning to all. W3MMR, Perry, Chester, Pennsylvania. Just waking up here on the SDR this morning. I'm going to record the net. I was going to get on the Viking 2 this morning, but I want to record the net, and I'm going to post it on YouTube. So for anybody who wants to listen to the net afterwards, you can go to my YouTube channel. You just search the old military radio net. That's all you gotta search, and it'll pop right up. So that's the story on that. Good morning, Pop. Good morning to the rest. I'm gonna go grab my brew, and I'll take a standby. I'll join everybody else on the bench here, and wait for the game to start. Good morning, guys. Great signals all the way around. W3MMR. And of course, good morning to you, Charlie.
Yeah, good morning, Perry. Let's see if we got a net controller. Brown, Steve, anybody around?
Hey, Perry, how can you even get on the radio, man, without your coffee? I can't even throw the power switch without the coffee.
Well, you never know with the net. You never know how many people are checking in the pre-net, man. So you gotta get your place in line.
Well, I got my place in line. Goodness. Get up early and Did you get any rain over that way? I don't know if it rained here or not. I let a cat in. He wasn't wet, and it's clear out there now. So if it did come through here, we didn't get much of it. So I got to get to Green Branch this morning. Do my thing. It's going up into the 50s, so I'll do my thing over there this morning and get that out of the way. The exercise came up briefly this morning on the pre-net. You know where I stand with that business there. So anyhow, I was on the radio last night. What did you say happened to you again? You didn't want to talk to me, or you threw a carrier on me or something?
No. No, I was I got off work early last night. I got off before 5:30, and what do you call it? There was a couple other guys talking on that All-Star New or whatever the room was, and then Dixon called, so I was talking to him, watching him play his guitar the entire way home. So that's why I wasn't on there. I didn't get on. I don't think I got on 75 last night at all either. So if I did, I don't remember getting on. So, and yeah, we got some rain over here. It was raining almost all night. So you had to have gotten rain. I went to bed, it was raining, and it's wet outside right now, so that'd be really weird if you didn't get any rain. All right, I'm gonna go grab my coffee. I'll be back in a couple minutes. W3MMR.
Okay, yeah, that was the turn your volume up. That was the West Coast hub out there in California. That was an interesting QSO, man. I was going to shut it off if you came in, unhook that part, but the guy was revealing his horror story with MFJ and his tuner, and it didn't work right, and they said it was 6 weeks to make another one and everything else. So felt bad for the guy. You know how it goes with customer service and voicemail and messages and not getting calls back. So, all right, I'll be listening here, getting ready for Brown or Steve or somebody. W2SDR.
Good morning, guys. Nice, quiet fan conditions this morning. Brown, I don't think made it in till after 2 in the morning from the West Coast, so doubt we'll be hearing him this morning. And everybody's pretty restrained this morning and quiet. What's the problem? Unusual. Everybody's getting the sleep out of their eyes, including my own self here. I'm not quite cognizant of where I am at the moment. But good morning, everybody. And we'll start calling the old military radio net. 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 This net meets weekly. 500 here on 3885 or thereabouts to discuss and peruse and use and have interest in old military radios. Don't need military radio to join us, just an interest. And Brown says making the old new again? I don't know. Anyway, so at this time in the morning, I have heard N1XCW, W3MMR, W2SDR, and I believe N1SNG is mentioned in there as well. Is there anyone else that wishes to join the old military radio net? Please call now.
Whiskey 4, Alpha 3. Whiskey 4, Alpha 3. WT calling, Whiskey 4, Hotel Whiskey Tango, over. UA4, Delta Hotel.
Steve and Craig, yeah. The KB3RHR, Craig has been in here with me since 3:30 this morning.
Oh boy, Craig's having flashbacks to the past job, maybe. I don't know. All right, I missed some people in there. So I have WA2EJT, W4HWT, and WA4DDH, KB3RHR, and I'm pretty sure I heard. Oh, sorry guys, just working on W1ZFB in there, I think. Anybody I missed, please go again.
Whiskey 4, Alpha X-ray.
One more time.
It was Mac, W4AX.
Alpha X-ray.
Okay, W4AX. Alright, sorry guys, I'm going to run through the list again. N1XCW, W3MMR, W2SDR, N1SNG, WA2EJT, W4HWT, WA4DDH, KB3RHR, W1ZFB, W4AX. Did I miss anybody? Alright, good morning guys. Warm morning here, 34 degrees up here in northeast Pennsylvania. And Frank, we had 1.25 inches of rain here last night. It was teeming for quite some time. I wonder why they call it teeming. But anyway, I guess the raindrops team up on you? I don't know. So yeah, we did get a lot of rain. It was sleeting, maybe some freezing rain earlier in the evening, but I think temperatures stayed above freezing here. And hopefully that removed any residue snow that was left over from the beginning of the week. We had about 6 inches, very fluffy snow, but that didn't last, with temperatures getting up in the 50s during the week in some different points of view with sun and all that stuff. So it wasn't really, it was a mixed week, but not that bad of a week. Did have a really major accident on one of the highways here with three fatalities, and so that wasn't good. One of them a 14-year-old person, and just really, really sad. Anyway, so running the ART-13 here, listening on the AirSpy HF Plus, and yeah, that's about what's going on here. Yeah, Brown has been on the West Coast working, and then we got home very early in the morning when Craig was just getting out of bed, and Charlie. So I don't know that he'll join us this morning. Probably had a rough night. So with that, let's start at the top. N1XCW, W3MMR, W2SDR, N1SNG, WA2EJT, W4HWT, WA4DDH, KB3RHR, W1ZFB, W4AX, and then back to net. So go ahead, Charlie. You can set it off here. This is KD3HT.
KD3HT, M1XZW in the old military radio now. Yo, I got up at 2:30 this morning, and I had about a ½ inch of sleet on the ground. Not snow, but sleet, the little balls. And when I went back upstairs to get my coffee at 4, it had turned gray. And I looked closely, and I could see that it had turned completely over to rain, and now it's all waterlogged. So hopefully it'll all go away. because we had pretty much gotten rid of the 5.5 inches of snow that we had the last time around. It was down to just being little piles where it had been shoveled or plowed. The majority of it was gone. But anyway, that's the weather report from here in Rhode Island. It's about 34 degrees, 35 degrees thereabouts, and things are looking up. I think spring is right around the corner. I had a couple of red-winged blackbirds in my mulberry tree this week, and they usually fly south and come back with the other blackbirds, and to see them this early is very unusual. I did a little, that day when it was 70 degrees here a week and a half ago, I did a little raking in the fish pond garden, and under the leaves, I was seeing earthworms. That's a sure sign of spring, right? Oh, are you there, Perry? W3MMR, N1XZW.
Yeah, 1XZW in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR. Good transmission, Charlie. Yeah. It was sleeting at work yesterday, on and off for a little bit. And I remember a couple times I was on a test drive at the end of the day. You can tell when it hits the windshield, you know what I mean? It doesn't look like, rain is very distinct. Then when it's sleeting or has like a frozen, profile to it, it almost looks like a splatter. Almost like blood splatter, like if you guys are into crime stuff, like when it hits the windshield, it kind of breaks apart as opposed to being one like droplet on the windshield. Pretty cool how it does that, but I thought it sounded like it last night because I still have the air conditioner in my window in my room, and when we get frozen precipitation, you can hear the difference between the raindrops and frozen stuff on the air conditioner there. So, but no accumulation, So guess it was right up, but now it's 55 degrees out, so the temperature's really risen compared to what it was in the evening last night. So it's really going up. But anyway, everyone's coming in great. Good morning to the new check-ins there. It was Mac, John, and a whole bunch of others. I didn't catch everyone, but everyone's coming in great this morning. Really great band conditions. Extremely quiet here locally, which is a big plus, because as of late it's been pretty loud locally. But everyone's coming in great, and the band is in fantastic condition here this morning. So we'll keep it short on this first round. Make sure everyone gets in here and gets their due time. I'll get it over to you, Pop, and I'll stick in here for a while. W2SDR in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR.
Yeah, okay, Perry, W3MMR. In the old military radio net, W2SDR. Well, good morning to everyone that I haven't said good morning to, and good morning to everyone that I have. Teeming rain, T-E-E-M. I guess they have, needs a lot of activity, I think, jam-packed with action, like teaming school of fish, teaming this and that, teaming sports event. There's Joe over there on All-Star calling roll. Bill, I guess you hear him on All-Star down there in South Carolina. I'll continue to move it around here this morning. N1SNG in the old Milrad net, W2SDR.
W2SDR, N1SNG. Okay. Again, good morning to the group. Good morning to Perry. Beautiful signal into Rhode Island this morning. Full quieting here along with Frank. Really nice to hear your signals in here this morning. And the weather and the weather models that they've been showing, the different colors versus depth of snow or inches of rain or whatever. It's kind of interesting how they can get it down to these real fine, narrow lines and so on. But anyway, I agree with Charlie there on the weather. We're only about 10 miles apart here. And the same thing, Charlie. It just started snowing last evening, and then went into like a sleep, and then went over to rain. Same thing. I look out, and there's a coating on the vehicles, where it just slid off in front of the windshield and all that. So that should come off pretty good if the temperatures don't go down to freezing. And let me see. The dynamotor on the ART-13 seems to be holding together quite well. Boy, it got a lot heavier than the last time when I remember putting that on the installation there, and that was about 10 years ago. So it's been doing a good job. Still had grease in the bearings, so all I did was kind of repack the bearings with some what did I use? Red grease there. Wheel bearing grease. I dumped some of that in there, and not to over grease because there's not too much, just the end caps holding that together there. And let me see, BMW 5100, Charlie. Yeah, I've been working on that the other day when we talked on 40 there. The SWR was going up and up. Plate current was going up, and I had to keep adjusting things. So I went through that yesterday. I've got to run some sea trials on it and see if anything improves. Other than that, it may be something going on other than just the tubes. And Charlie, good on the red-winged blackbirds. Yeah, I've seen a few of those, and they do come in with the starlings and the blackbirds and all that. We do have bluebirds here. They arrived last week, and they've been hanging around with all the other birds. Seeing that I've been using the suet to feed the birds, and that seems to work quite well. But now that all the snow is melted here, they're back to ground feeding again. And as far as the earthworms, we get we call them night crawlers here, and we used to go out at night to get some for fishing and all, and they're pretty good size, but you can see in the yard where they come up. They get these little mud pack things and all that. So all the signs of spring. Daffodils are probably about 6 inches high right now, and crocuses that we usually get here, they're long gone. So anyway, the weather the way it is, I really can't complain here. Not too bad at all. So anyway, we'll keep it short, keep it rolling along, and I believe it's going over to Joe at WEJT and Steve K83HT. I saw your email there. Very interesting on that dumpster dive, and I think it's a redfin. Very interesting. First time I've seen one of those. I referred to the Osterman's receiver book there, and I guess they've been around for I think 1948 or so. But in any case, hopefully you can resuscitate some of those beautiful receivers there. So WA2EJT N1SNG over.
Good morning, Glenn and Paul. And Stu is very good at the control here. Without a net control, there wouldn't be much of a couple of comments. That is interesting to hear about your dynamotor here. And always nice to hear about military topics here on the old military. I'm running my usual AR2 to the team with a BC348 receiver and a BC946 command receiver with a Q-fiber, and in parallel with that a BC453 receiver as a Q-fiber, and using the BC946 receiver. I've been working on my usual project, my Lamkin frequency meter, continuing, and I think I'm somewhere near finished with that. And all I'll see what the weather is. I saw our first cloud coming up here on January 28th. January 28th, I saw the first snowdrop coming up. And they're quite advanced now, and we have lots of other stuff up and showing nicely at this point. Okay, that's it for the weather report and all the rest of that. And I did enjoy seeing the photos of your radiophone receiver. I'd heard of those, but of course I'd never seen one before, and they're ultra rare and great that you were able to rescue that. Now, I'll pass it along to John, W4HWT, and John, I wonder if you ever got that broadcast receiver fix that we had discussed, well, within the last few weeks. W4HWT, the old military man. WA2JT, over.
Okay, Joe, WA2EJT in the old military radio net. This is John, W4HWT here in Snow Camp, North Carolina. Temperature about 60 degrees. And I had a front came through last night, so it cooled it off a little bit, but it's kind of been muggy and drizzly for 2 or 3 days, and I think this front has pushed it on out now, and we'll probably not get any warmer than that today and probably go down somewhat, but running the BC610E model here and 614 speech amp and 390A receiver, and backed up a little bit by a 75A A3 receiver that I thought we did some exercise here this morning, and copied you pretty good, Joe, there. I didn't quite catch the question, what I've got working on, fixed and so forth. I did work on a broadcast receiver for a gentleman and got it working, but the RF stage, something's wrong in that area. Well, I say RF stage, it really did have an RF stage, just a tuned RF stage in the front of the mixer there, but there's something wrong. I couldn't figure out. The coil is an RF coil that's got quite a few windings on the thing, but I couldn't figure out what terminals do what, and the schematic I had didn't give any kind of terminal indication, and also the radio not quite what the schematic says it's supposed to be either. It's a little bit different, but anyway, the front end RF selectivity is not there, so but it will play on an antenna and do a pretty good job until at night. And of course, then all the images and everything come in quite bad, so just had to give up on that thing without. And it's a very complicated radio. It's some push buttons on it, and about 9 push buttons, and where the RF assembly comes through the chassis to the innards of the radio, that switch is in the way, and I didn't want to turn that switch out to see what's going on in that thing, so I'm afraid I might botch it up. So anyway, we got it working, but not really like it ought to, but it is a workable radio for local radio stations and so forth. It is about a 1925, 26, 27 radio, some of that area. But it was RPC, Radio RPC is what it's called, Radio Products Corporation. And I don't know who it's made for. It's made for somebody that's not Oceanoffer, something like that, kind of a name like that. But it wasn't Oceanoffer, that's an Allied regenerative receiver. So anyway, we're doing fine down here, and I won't keep it any longer. And copy Glenn and Frank and everybody good, and so keep it on going. I think it goes WA4DDH or W4DDH in South Carolina. So WA4DDH, pick it up, W4HWT, an old military radio net. Standing by for you, over.
ahead, Craig.
W3EMD.
Yeah, I got you, Buzz. Try one more time. WB3RHR. Go ahead, Craig. KB3RHR. Okay. I didn't know if he checked in, so Mike, W1ZFB, go ahead. Mac, W4AX, and then bring it over to Buzz, W3EMD, and then back to me. So go ahead, Mike, W1ZFB, KD3HT.
Okay, thank you, Steve. And good morning to everybody on the old military radio net. I'm hearing all the signals really well this morning. Got a couple of static crashes, but otherwise hearing everybody fairly well. And I guess it's getting to that time of the season where we are going to get to 44 degrees here in Fredericksburg. And like the other fellow said, I think it was who was saying the rain, we've got about an inch of rain down here. It's raining all night, so it's supposed to clear up here. And running the ARC-8 combination 348 and the ART-13. Unfortunately, I can't play a dynamotor here because it's it's an AC power supply. But I might think about putting a tape recording on this so I have the same noise from the dynamo as everybody else has. Hi. I'm going to stick around for another one. Let's see, W4ANX, I believe, takes it, W1ZFB. Hope I got that right.
Okay, Mike, thanks so much. W1ZFB, W4AX, just a 1x2. The name is Mac in Ball Ground, Georgia. Good morning to everyone. I'm on the BC-375, built in 1939, and just a reminder, this is the one that came new to me in the case from the GE factory. All the tuning units, I'm really proud of it. It's just a beautiful piece. It's my oldest piece of military radio equipment. The precursor to the ART-13 that used to fly the B-17s in World War II. And I'm listening on a BC-348, which is not the best receiver for this test just because of the wide IF. But anyway, it's keeping it real at all points. Pictures of it on my QRZ site with a custom piece of furniture I built for it. Had the Dalton Hamfest, which is a big boat-anchor Hamfest up this way last weekend. Sold about $1,000 worth of stuff and bought a Palstar AT-5K tuner, so that was I made my contribution back to someone else. Boating Hamfest was this morning. It's about a 2.5-hour drive, and I have a son and two adult grandsons. I don't know if they're grown. The oldest one's 21. And I'll have lunch with them, and it'll be good to see them as well and catch a Hamfest. Ham radio project, working on an ART-13 for a friend. Power supply. It was really pretty ill. Speech amplifier had to be rebuilt, some other things. And power supply had a lot of problems with it, including the shortage on plate transformer. So anyway, getting all that going for him, and I plan to try to return it to him back in Tennessee sometime next week. Everyone has good signals. Copy everyone. Thanks for letting me in. I'll stick around for one more. Good morning, Buzz. W3EMD, W4AX.
Good morning, W4AX in the group, W3EMD in the Hudson Valley. Good morning, this is Buzz. And looks like we were very lucky here. We had ice storm last night, but it looks like it's much less than what was forecast. There's only about half an inch of sleet on the ground. Really kind of scared that we were going to have a serious ice storm, with trees and antennas and all those problems, but it looks like we got away with it. It looks that way. So again, this is ART-13 VY17A dynamotor, and also the BC-348. And again, what I do with my BC-348 is I've got a little SDR radio, a little pocket radio. It's about 1.5 inches wide, 4 inches, 3.5 inches tall, and just very, very small. Literally fits in a shirt pocket. And it's tuned to 915 kilohertz, the BC348IF. And there's a little piece of coax that runs into one of the headphone jacks, and then a little coupling capacitor to couple that to the grid cap of the third IF. And that kind of fixes the selectivity problem. It's a little bit cheating, but it's not quite as authentic as what Joe does. So we'll not be here for the next 2 weeks. We're going to be going into New York City, down to our apartment in New York City. So we'll miss the next 2 weeks and be back at the end of March. Back to you, Steve. KD3HC, W3EMD, over.
Yeah, very good. 99.5% copy. Missed a little bit of Bill, but copied most everything. 72 degrees down there already. That's warm this time of the year. I guess not, but I'm not used to that type of temperature this time of the year up here. And all the way from Charlie and Harry, Frank, everybody, good signals all the way through. And yeah, it's definitely had a bunch of rain last night, and I think we're a little low on water here as far as how much we've received so far this year. So getting it all at once like that's not the greatest thing, but hopefully it's helping something out here. And like I said, it probably washed away most of the snow that was left over, which isn't a big problem here at all. And yeah, everybody is sounding great on the ART-13s, BC-375s, BC-610s, and other equipment. Everybody is doing fine. Yeah, I don't know about resuscitated. I powered up basically an old late 70, yeah, come on, brain, late 60s design marine receiver by Redaphone. Redaphone's a manufacturer in the United Kingdom, and I'd seen this before. It's been sitting in a tractor trailer for, I've seen it for probably 10 years or more, and it's probably been there longer than that. So, but reached out and found a conversation on an old UK radio-related board where somebody provided somebody a manual, and I was able to find the guy's email address. He's a ham in the UK, and emailed him and explained what I had. And he was very nice. Set up a thing, sent me the manual, gave me some pointers. So I had to go down and find a Jones plug, big 16-pin Jones plug for like I think the AF67, AF68, Donset used to use them. Had one of them, made a few jumpers on it, and away it went. So it does need an alignment. Some of the paint on one of the dials has all come apart, but I've collected it in chunks, so I'm hoping to be able to put that back together and recreate it. And yeah, it works. That's not the most sensitive thing in the world, but I think with tweaking, that will come alive a little bit more as well. Fully variable IF from 1 to 8 kilohertz, and also has a crystal filter in it for CW, and actually has a product detector in it, so it was, along those lines of supporting both single sideband and AM. Covers 160 kilohertz to 28 megahertz. One of the first radios I've seen that just stops at 28 megahertz. So quite interesting. Anyway, oh yeah, the last thing about it that's pretty neat is it like it has a film type scale for the readout, and I calculated it to be between 3 and 4 feet long, and so it's pretty interesting, kind of direct reading. And really the only thing besides the sensitivity that's a little off is the fine-tuning control doesn't seem to really connect here. So I don't know if there's a friction, something or other for friction that's not working. We'll get that. We'll figure that out. If not, I mean, even the main tuning is good enough, like the SP600, where you can tune it fine enough where you can tune right into a sideband station without much of an issue. So, certainly usable. And let's see, other than that, yeah, everything sounded good. I'm wondering, Glenn, if you checked the brushes at all, or whether you just let that go. I don't know that I've ever checked brushes unless I was cleaning. You know, if I clean the armatures off of a dynamotor, then I would pull the brushes out, so I would inspect them basically from that process, but I don't know that I've ever checked any. I do have a box of brushes, but I don't know if I checked any and been there with the re-greasing of the end bearings, so even though they're sealed, usually heat them up a little bit and let the old grease out and pack the new grease in there. So, sounds good. And a Hamfest already for Mac, and dropping a bit of cash, and seeing the grandsons at the same time. That's a great combination. Our grandson was here through Sunday last week. It's good seeing him. And he headed back home. And Perry, your son, headed back home too. So, all in all, good week. Like I said, a mix of winter and spring, but bird-wise, don't think I've really seen anything here except, hawks, which are pretty much hanging out, maybe buzzard, and heard some woodpeckers. That's about it. So, all right, let's see if there's anyone else for the old military radio at this time. Don't need military equipment, just interest. And if you'd like to check in, please call now. This is Steve, KB3HD.
Good morning, it's WU2D.
WA1JUJ.
All right, good morning, Mike and Kevin, WU2D, WA1JUJ. Anyone else? Okay, we'll get started with that. And 73, by the way, Bill, if you're still listening, thank you for joining us. And Charlie, when you mentioned the birds, we don't get any other, red-winged blackbirds down here, and I did notice them up there in Rhode Island. So it is interesting how, different critters are aligned with different areas. But I do expect to see the robins coming back and finches and stuff like that any time now. I don't think I've seen any trees. They look like they've been budding, but I haven't seen anything bloom out yet. I'm trying to remember if I've seen any flowers that I've noticed, and I haven't. I just hope things don't come out too early and then get wiped out by a cold freeze, a cold spell. That's always a bad thing when stuff comes out too early this time of the year. So, Mike, good morning to you. You take it. Kevin, send it over to Kevin. And then up to Charlie, N1XCW, Perry, W3MMR, Frank, W2SDR, Glenn, N1SNG, Joe, WA2EJT, John, with his broadcast receiver with the first tuned RF not working right, to Mike, W1ZFB, Mac, W4AX, Buzz, W3EMD, and then back to me. So, with that, go ahead, Mike, WU2D in the old military radio net, KB3HD.
Whiskey, good morning.
Okay, there might have even been 2 stations trying to check in. This is WU2D. Good morning, everybody. We have fluffy snow falling, and I think there will be some shoveling or snow blowing up here in New Hampshire. Some snowblower action in New Hampshire. And speaking of buzzards, there's a lot of old buzzard transmissions happening. Yeah, we have a lot of them up in New England here. Different kind of buzzard. So I'm running the ART-13 this morning and the RT-98. I had a problem with my 24-volt, 25-volt power supply that put my BC348 dynamotor and my ARC2 dynamotor and my BC652 dynamotor, everything that runs on a dynamotor, out of action. So I had to repair that 24-volt supply. And that was the project last week for the surplus Radio Shack. So, still got a few radios that are down for real radio reasons. Somehow the TCS transmitter is not transmitting anymore. I think the relay's not clicking, so I got to find out if that's a contact issue or if the coil might have gone in the relay. Something going on there. Can't be without a TCS, that's for sure. Let's send it over to Kevin. It's WU2D. My name is Mike.
WU2D, good morning to everybody. My name is Kevin, located in town of Granville in Western Mass. And right now we're in IC-746. About 50 watts to my dipole. It's up about 35. We've got 31 degrees here right now and mixed precipitation. It started snowing last night around 8 o'clock, I think. And this morning when I looked out, we have about 5 inches of new snow on the ground. On top of about 3 inches that was left storm at the beginning of the week. We got 7 inches here in Western Mass at the beginning of the week. So I've got about 5 inches out there now of new snow, and it's mixed. It's supposed to turn back to snow and somewhere around noontime. Maybe about 7 inches. Snow blow on probably later this afternoon tomorrow. Cleaning up the mess again. Other than that, not too much going on here. Not too much radio stuff working, except some cheapo LED camping lamps around the tower, which we have done a couple of times already. That's just the cheap Chinese ones. They're pretty bright, about 200 lumens, and it's got a little solar panel on top. Battery and a lithium-ion battery. You can charge it with a solar panel or you can charge it with a USB connector. And it also will take 3 AA batteries. It comes in a box with 4. So we can fool around with those and see how long they last. It's how easy it is to charge them. Other than that, not too much going on, so I'll pass it up to, I think it goes to Charlie. Everyone XZW, if you can copy me, this is WA1 Cherry UJ.
Charlie, can I step in here for a minute?
Yeah, you want to pick up those breakers?
Yeah, might as well. So Gary, I heard VUW. Is there another station trying to join? Over. Okay, this will just pick up Gary at this point. So Gary, K0 VUW, please go ahead, and then you can turn it up to Charlie, N1XZW. So K0 VUW in the old military radio net, KD3HD.
Okay, very good morning. I think you turned it to me there. I've got a little QRM
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to let you know I was out here this morning. This is Gary, Gulf America Radio Yankee. QTH is Wildwood, Missouri, where we've had, some windy days, up over 70 mile an hour. Everything's held up, though, so we're in good shape. Hope everybody's doing well. I'll keep it short here. I didn't expect to get in quick here, so I missed who I'm supposed to go to, so I apologize for that. So whoever gets it next there, K0 Victor United Whiskey, over.
K0 VUW N1 XVW. Well, I'll say this, Steve. This is the very first morning I ever can remember hearing everybody on the net. I haven't had a single station this morning that I didn't have at least 99% copy on. That's like absolutely incredible propagation. Anyway, the birds there, Steve, the finch, if you feed them, they're here year-round. I have a thistle feeder that's at Nigel, stuff that fine seed. And I have the gold and the red-headed finch, and they're here year-round. It's kind of hard to tell the gold ones in the winter because they do lose about 90% of their color. They have just a greenish tint to them. But in the spring and mating season, they get that brilliant, bright gold color. Anyway, I'm going to make this my last one. I sure enjoyed the net this morning compared to usually struggling to hear people and listening to noise. And my noise, my daytime noise, kicks in at 11 minutes past 6. So I'm gonna cut my losses, as they say, and I'll listen out until my noise kicks in. And everybody have a wonderful weekend. And to the person that commented about a net without a net controller. Well, a net without a net controller is chaos, and the contact area where the brushes go, the proper name for that is a commutator. 730 W3MMR N1XZW.
N1XZW and the old mill riding at W3MMR. Okay, Charlie, yeah, I agree, man. The band conditions have been fantastic this morning. Great net, really is. And yeah, commutator. I remember I used to race RC cars a few years back, man. It's going back 20 years now. They have brushless motors and everything they use now, but back when we used to use brush motors, you used to have to cut the commutators. Take the electric motors apart and cut the commutators, replace the brushes. You could replace the bearings or bushings in the motors and everything, but I had a little commutator cutter, and it was like a tiny little lathe, man. It was really cool, and that brings back good memories. I'd love to get back into racing RC cars again. That was really fun, and there's a lot of it around this area, and really around the entire country. But that's a whole other discussion for another time. Good morning to all the new check-ins. Buzz, I didn't copy everybody down, but good morning to you all. You all know who you are, Gary, and the whole rest. Really, God, I just can't get over how good the band is this morning. It really is. And Steve, good on your grandson. I'm glad you had a good time. Yeah, everything went well with my son. It was fantastic, and I'm sure you had equally as good of a time with your grandson there. And so I'm real glad to hear it, man. So 2 thumbs up on that. And Mac, good on the Dalton Ham Fest. Yeah, I know a few guys down that way who were at the Ham Fest as well. K4UIE and W2FMU and W4H or W4WMT. A few others down that way were at the Dalton Ham Fest as well, and saw some pictures on Facebook and looked like a really good time. And I'm looking forward to Sussex Ham Fest this year. I didn't make it last year because I had to work, but this year I don't have to work. I don't work weekends anymore, and I will be off for the Sussex Ham Fest, so I'm really looking forward to that this year. Let me see, what else do we have here? I believe that's it. I'm going to go ahead and officially make this my final. I'm going to go ahead and scoot down the band, tune around a little bit here, see what's going on the band, make another cup of coffee, and try to get my day started here. So let me see what we got here. Okay, so anyway, really great hearing everyone this morning. Again, great band conditions. Steve, thanks so much for running the net. You do a fantastic job. You and Brown both keeping the net alive and well here. And my dad did text me to say he checked out, so I'll be sending it up to Glenn, I believe. And Glenn, 7-3 to you, Charlie, and the rest of the crew. Great to hear you guys this morning, and we'll hopefully look for you all again next week. N1SNG in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR. We'll be listening out.
Yeah, W3MMR in the old military radio net. N1SNG. Okay, Perry, very good. You know, the commutator machine. Yeah, the old school. Yeah. And we used to have shops in the area here. They would do starters, alternators, and so on. Like rebuild shops. I don't see too many of those around anymore.
Thanks so much for running
that. Yep. And
Brown both.
Steve on the brushes.
Well here.
This dynamotor was refurbished when I got it, or it was brand new, just never used. Because the commutators were just as clean as a whistle. I never pulled the brushes out, and everything looks good. The distance, and then the lengths and all that. I mean, I didn't see anything bottoming out, but it seems to run pretty good. I don't. It's not as I hear a lot of ART-13s on that generate a lot of noise, and I don't know if mine is doing that. I hope not, but I know there's other reasons for that because of the way they're set up. I know Chris had that issue, not an issue, but that whining noise in there. So hopefully mine's not doing that. But another comment, Steve, on that Red Fawn, that ribbon, the material that they use for that, it's got to be in pretty good, it must have a lot of stability, put it that way, because something that long to maintain, because that is basically more like a vernier type scale to maintain accuracy along that distance. They must use must be like plastic or something, for that ribbon. But anyway, nice find there, and hopefully you'll get some usage out of that. And we'll say 7-3 to Perry and Charlie. On the finches, yep, same thing here. But we had very few this winter. They just started coming back. First, I noticed the house finch with the red heads, and then I noticed the thistle feeder was just covered with finches. So they came for a few days, and then they left. So I don't know. They may be ground feeding. But in any case, yeah, it's good to see you all come back and enjoy the springtime, and you get those nice days. So anyway, we'll get it right over to Joe, WA2EJT, and N1SNG on the ART-13.
Okay, Glenn. N1 and SNG, military. Now, this is WA2EJT, good signal from you and everyone else. Just a couple of comments here. Steve, thank you for further comments on your Vertiphone receiver. Marine receivers are ultra rare, and you might comment a little more on exactly
you said that it was in the back of a trailer, you know, full of stuff. I wonder if who it was that had owned that, and I suppose there's now a silent P, but it'd be interesting to hear more about that. And let's see here. I have actually been doing some actual military equipment work. I've got a Boris DC-453 in my workbench that I've been slowly rebuilding the capacitors in. And I just finished another one of the triple section 0.05 microfarad capacitors. And have that ready to reinstall in the receiver. And also I've one of my LM frequency meters, one of the bathtub capacitors, leaked enough that it's stopped working correctly, so I don't make any attempt to rebuild those things. I just leave it in the site, I leave it in the equipment, and cut it loose and capacitor. And let's see, I think I'll leave things at that. John, thank you for the comments on your broadcast receiver, and wonder what other project you've been working on there. I know you're always working on something, John. And Steve, I'll be here till 06:30. It ought to be possible to get around again by then, but we'll see. At 06:30, I will be off and on my way. So I hope you're still reading me, John. W4HWT is the old military net, WA2EJT. Over.
Okay, Joe, WA2EJT and the old military radio net. This is John in Snow Camp, North Carolina for the new check-ins. Going to BC610 E model and 390A receiver, 75A2 receiver in a backup. Copies are good, Joe. This 75A2 receiver has been modified for the Collins. Put the mechanical filters in it to make it like the 75A3, and of course it doesn't have the product detector. It's still the plain old AM receiver, basically CW, but not product detector. But copy is pretty good there, Joe, all the way around. Yeah, working on that 813 article, 813 transmitter that was in the electric radio article. That Keir tube circuitry has gone south on me, and trying to figure out what's going on. Just doing some tests here this morning. It looked like the Keir is doing okay. It's a modification they put in that many articles of that 813 transmitter was in about 3 or 4 continuous handbook articles, and they modified it with a 6BL7 Keir circuit in the thing because the potential Keir had reports of some of the people who built it having key clicks, and mine was doing fine all of a sudden, and it got where the signal comes right on through the 5763 driver tube that's normally keyed off when the key is up, but it's leaking through enough to put out output power so that the whole thing cycles through its time sequence thing and doesn't sound right on CW. So we've been working on that thing, trying to figure out what's going wrong with that thing. Bought some new tubes for it and didn't change a thing. So we got that kind of problem. But enough of that. We won't keep it long here. And okay, Steve, on your receiver. And I won't comment on all the different stations checked in. Some I can copy better than others, but no problem here in North Carolina. We're about central North Carolina and so forth here. Next weekend is the Charlotte Ham Fest. We might go to that. I haven't decided whether to go down to it or not. But if we do go, we'll have to get out of here early in the morning, so to drive about 75 miles, something like that, one way, so won't make the military net in the morning. Steve, I want to turn it back to you because W84DD8, I think, dropped out. I think he dropped out, so, and I'm not sure who gets it next, so I'm going to turn it back to you, Steve, and good luck with your receivers there and so forth. Boy, you got a collection of stuff, par excellence, I guess, and so forth. So, Steve, KD3HT, appreciate you running the net there, Steve. KD3HT W4HWT, I turned it over to an old military radio and it's standing by for you. Over.
Yep, thanks, John. W1ZFB, Mike, go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Steve. I'm going to make this my last one, W1ZFB in Perrysburg here, but I just wanted to say enjoyed listening to the net and all the modifications that were going on. I don't have the dynamotor in here, but it was interesting to hear about what happens for those things. And the other fellow there with modified 348, that's pretty interesting. I picked up on that pocket SDR radio. That's pretty cool doing that. So anyway, I'm going to listen for a little bit, but I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee and say 73s to everybody. Steve, I'm not sure, is it go to Mac W4AX if he's still here, W1ZFB?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, go ahead, Mac, W1ZFB.
All right, W1ZFB, W4AX. Thanks so much, Mike, and good morning to all the folks that just joined. And so this is Mac on the BC375, listening on a BC348. And Steve, that was quite the radio find and project, so I know you're really thrilled with that. And as always, thanks for running your net. You always do just a super job. And I've got a 13 transmitter that was in those AWRL handbooks. It's been around for a long time, and I helped a friend get one on the air not too long ago. That's an interesting design. Around here, I guess since everyone's giving a weather report, we had a tornado warning yesterday, which means one was either formed in the clouds or on the ground, so we had to get our 5 shack dogs downstairs and my wife, and we kind of hunkered down. All the sirens were going off. You guys have snow and other things. We have thunderstorms and tornadoes down here. And not too often, but when they come, you better take them seriously because they're super destructive. Down here, all the trees are blooming, are starting to bloom. Some of them are full of flowers. Because I live in a rural area, we have wildlife year-round, deer and coyotes, all manner of animals, squirrels and birds year-round. Cardinals are the big deal around here. But like everyone else says, we're going to get another freeze, I promise. I'll say 73 on this one. It's always a pleasure to be on this net. I should be here next week as well, and so I'll talk with you then. W3EMD, over to you, Bob. 73, W4AX.
Fine, very good. W4AX, this W3EMD. Good solid copy all around with the net. And again, for the newcomers, this is Buzz. I'm in the Hudson Valley, 100 miles north of New York City, using an ART-13 with a DY-17A dynamotor that you can hear because it's on the floor here, and I'm using a dynamic mic. The receiver is the BC348 with a little SDR as a Q5er. Glad to hear all the stories about the birds in the area. We've got a couple of big, huge pileated woodpeckers in the neighborhood now. And the other night, we had my next-door neighbor across the road, who is a ham. She has a trail cam, and at 12:45 in the morning, took a picture of the biggest bear I have ever seen since we've had this place in 2007. A really large, very fat bear. I don't think he hibernated. Not the size that he was. We have them occasionally, but never seen this guy, and he's the biggest bear we've ever seen in this area. Let's see. Glenn, on the dynamotors, yeah, I was very lucky, like you. My dynamotor here was essentially new in the box. So what happened is it went for refurbing about 1960 and was fully refurbed. put in a box and then was never returned to service. And so I opened it when I got the ART-13 about 5 years ago, and it was like opening the box with a new dynamotor in it. Even the paint had been renewed. And fine on your radio there, Steve. That sounds like quite an adventure with that marine radio. So back over to you, copying everyone quite well. And 73 to those who are leaving the net. KD3HT, W3EMD, over.
Check me into N9WQ.
Okay, N9WQ, gotcha. Get you on the list here. And, yeah, very good all the way around. Good signals, and okay on the Tornado, Mac. That's a little bit adventurous. Yeah, I'm kind of happy we don't experience them here. You know, occasionally, but they typically don't, you know, not like down there, stay on the ground, and we have a lot of hills and stuff that seem to break things up. But you never know. It still does happen, and still does impact some people here. But yeah, I don't know if it's early for that season or not. I know my daughter experienced some warnings down in Texas, and YouTuber I watch also. He's in Oklahoma, so he's in the prime area for tornadoes, and he also had some. So they're trying to get my keyboard working here. It's always fun to run out of batteries as the net's going on, but there we go. Got our typing back. So, all right, very good comments, and okay on Charlotte next week, and all the other things. Joe, I'm surprised you don't do the tubs. They're pretty easy. Just heat them and pull the back cover off, but it is a lot of splatter and everything else you get from heating them. With the, you know, since all the liquid comes out from the cap, all the wax melts and pours out. But they're pretty easy to repair. I've gone that far. I haven't gone as far as you and Pete, and manhandled the round ones like in the Arc 5 receivers and taken the tops off and rebuilt those yet. But that will happen in the works here. So I got N9WQ. Is there anyone else wishing to check in the old military radio net? Please call now. It's KD3HD.
This is KW1I. Good morning.
Fine signal down here, Dale. Anyone else? All right, we'll start with you, Dale. Or actually, we'll start with N9WQ, KW1I, WU2D, WA1JUJ, K0VUW, N1SNG, WA2EJT, W4HWT. I think Mac said that was, we'll try Mac W4AX, Buzz W3EMD, and then back to me. So go ahead, N9WQ, take her away, KD3HD.
Alrighty then. Good morning.
Good morning from sunny, beautiful downtown North Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I am on the SCR 399 this morning, the VC610E, the VC342, the VC614 East Beach amplifier, 939 antenna clear, the D104 and a dipole antenna, and I've got my fungicide treated receiver on hand. 27 degrees here this morning. Not a whole lot going on. Getting ready for all the other radiology that's going to happen this morning. Everybody's sounding great here today. And thanks for picking me up.
James Wing. I tell you, I turned the radio on and I heard that dynamo motor humming away down there, and I thought that was so cool. Brings back a lot of memories. So here she comes. The other station, I think it was a Kilowatt Whiskey 1, I think maybe. I don't know. I didn't hear you that well. Go ahead and pick it up. This is N9WQ in sunny, beautiful downtown North Fond du Lac. Over.
Okay, N9WQ in Fond du Lac. Coming in good to New Hampshire. This is KW1I, just south of Concord in the small town of Bow.
Mike Dale, we've been getting audio full.
Yeah, if you want to key up again, Dale, you lost your audio right after you said Bow.
You know, I've got a problem with my little Behringer preamp. I should have been looking at the LEDs on that, but every once in a while it quits and I just reinsert a cable, which I've had out and apart and everything else. Thanks, Mike. But anyway, we're on the TMC GPT 750, the GPR 90. We got about 8 inches of snow. And over to you, WU2D. This is KW1I.
Okay, Dale. Very nice. Dale, I want to tell you that even with no audio, you have pleasant, quiet for a few seconds. And Dale is not too far from me, so we took the R390A meter into the paint, so to speak. It's been a really interesting winter. We've got a lot of fluffy snow on the ground. I'm sure Dale has fluffy snow coming as well today. And we'll be getting out our snow shovels. You guys are going to think I'm jinxing myself, but I have not used the snowblower this year. So that's saying something. I haven't even got the snowblower out at all. I've managed to keep the egg snowblower. So what does that say? Apparently snowy New Hampshire. So that should spoil it. A real dump on the other. So Kevin, are you still out there? AUJ in Western Mass.
WU2D, WA1JUJ. I have to agree with you, Mike. When Dale lost his audio there, it was just complete silence, not a sound. It's a carrier station coming from the south. Say good morning again to everybody. Fortunately, I was planning this morning to go over to flea market over in Chicopee, Mass. But unfortunately, I'm probably not even going to be able to get out of my driveway. I'm trying to go over with my brother, N1MOC. He said he probably is going to be able to get out of his driveway. The snow's coming down pretty good right now. So unfortunately, we're probably going to miss that this year. Made it over there every year. Every 12 years. Other than that, that was a good time. We enjoyed having her here, especially the ex-wife. So with that, I'm going to say 73s on this one, Steve. Say good morning to everybody. Hope to be back over here again next week. So go out to K0 UW WA1J.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary. K0VUW, go ahead. This is KD3HT.
Okay, very good. Again, very good morning, everybody. This is Kilowatt Zero, Victor United Whiskey. Gary in Wildwood, Missouri. And a little more settled in this go-round. I wanted to hurry up and check in last time. And I had just let my dog out, what have you, and luckily I turned on a remote speaker. And that allowed me to hear when he turned it over to me. Running my homebrew 4-250 Alpha, modulated by a pair of 572Bs. A receiver is an R390 Alpha, which somebody mentioned hazard. When I got this, it was out of a nuclear submarine, and it had the radiation stickers under the meters. And I wasn't thinking, I clean everything up and whatnot. I took the stickers off. I should have left them on. It would have been a good conversation piece. And on Charlotte, the fellow in North Carolina, can't remember when it was because I went to Charlotte for like 30 years in a row, long time ago. But it was in the 90s, I think. You guys had an ice storm there that was just like about a half inch of ice everywhere. And I was staying at the Adamark, and I had a rental car, and I got up, and I was looking for coffee to take and get to the convention center there early. And I went into a coffee shop parking lot, and nobody was there. I was looking in the window, and a cop came up and stopped me, and he asked me what the heck I was doing out here. And I said, I'm looking for coffee. He says, nothing's going to be open. Nobody's out here driving. And about 10 minutes later, I understood why. People were going through stop signs, sliding on the ice and hitting each other. It was unbelievable. That's my one memory of good old Charlotte. Good ham fest. At any rate, hope everybody's doing well. Steve, thanks for doing the net there and let me get it on here. And everybody's coming in pretty good. Not too bad. Little QSB fade this morning for whatever reason. N1 NFG. Hope you copy. Kilowatt Zero Victor Uncle Willie.
Go ahead, Glenn, N1SNG, KD3HT.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, I kind of went from one end of the list to the other, it seemed like. It's just the domino effect here. Anyway, I was over in the tube department, looking at some of the tubes that don't mean anything to me, but might to others. So just putting them aside there and kind of cataloging things as we go. But yeah, on the I have a bunch of stickers here on some of my cabinets. They're radioactive material type stickers. I used to work for a company, and they did a lot of radiography type work in the valve industry there for nuclear power plants and so on and so on. So they had to take pictures of a lot of the big castings to make sure there were no flaws or anything in them. So that was quite interesting. They had built this huge concrete bunker, and it's amazing. I don't know then versus now, but the source only the size of a pencil eraser. And they would bring that in, so they had all these stickers. Some of them were kind of decommissioned and so on, so I grabbed a few, and just a novelty thing here, but I've never heard that on any of the radios at all. So, yeah, authentication. Yeah, it's nice to have, some of the original decals. And I picked up a B&W 5100, and it has the Civil Defense sticker on the front. And, it's kind of little chips in it, so you can make it out. I mean, it's about 80% there. But I'm saying to myself, well, gee, it would be nice to, pick one up and, replace it. But it's just something about putting something like that on new. It takes away that patina, But in any case, yeah, it looks like it's getting lighter here now. I just looked outside. A lot of the ice pellets, freezing rain. It looks like it's going to be around for a while. Still 34 degrees on the exterior here. So it's going to be an interesting day. See how the weather goes. And of course, further north, Mike, W2D. It sounds like you'll be shoveling a little bit or using the snowblower machine there to get some of that snow off to the side. And Dale, I don't know if you've gotten any substantial snow yet where you are. I imagine it may be snowing right now, but the GPT 750's just full quieting. Just full quieting here, so hopefully you can get that microphone situation underway there. So with that, Steve, I lost track of where it's going to go. I think it went over an N9WQ, but I'm going to send it back to net control and straighten things out there. KD3HT N1SNG.
Okay, go over to Joe, WA2EJT, KD3HT.
Okay, Steve, this is WA2EJT. Excellent conditions on the net here this morning. Great to hear all the military equipment on here and military commentary. This will be my final, Steve, and I really appreciate your running things. It can be a tricky job, and you always do it just right. A couple of comments, John. Thank you for your comments on the ART-13, and Steve, regarding the rebuilding of the little dam something there. I haven't done that because in the lower frequency meters, you really can't think about without major distance that way. You can have this Pete that recounted his experiences with doing that, and that's just far more effort than I would want to put into one of those. And finally, I have a Motorola, one of the little metal Motorola speakers that has a nice civil defense tag on it. That I'm just leaving it there. On this particular speaker, it's in very nice condition. It's always nice to see that. All right, well, thank you again for running things, Steve. And this is it from Manuel, New York. So, John, hope you're still reading me. You were excellent on your last transmission. W4HWT in the old military nets. Good morning all. WA2EJT. Go ahead, John.
Okay, Joe. WA2EJT in the old military radio net. This is John, W4HWT returning. Yeah, copy pretty good, Joe. You're a little bit light now. Things are, Glenn was kind of down too, and about 80% copy, and things are starting to go south here, west, or wherever they go. And but Joe, good luck in the weather up there. Hope everything's not too bad. I noticed that maybe some bad weather came through maybe last night and maybe a couple days ago too, but we just had a little bit of a front pass through last night, and didn't really amount to much, but they were calling for might be some pretty rowdy weather. And the gentleman that was talking about coming to the Charlotte Ham Fest and the snowstorm and sleet storm, I guess you would call it, yes, I remember that quite well. I was going to go that morning and got up and going to have to get ready, and it was kind of bad here. We got about a 70-mile drive, and, you know, it was pretty bad here, and I said, you know, I don't think it's worth going there, and I opted not to go, and which was the best thing. And evidently some people went and maybe got into the Ham Fest and didn't realize that how bad it was going to be, and several people told me that about 6 or 8 hours before they got home, which would have been about 6 or 8 hours to go about 60 or 60-some miles, 50 to 60-mile trip home. So it was a lot of slip and slide, and so I opted not to go, which turned out to be the best thing I ever did, and I'm glad of it. So, but that was in the March time frame, not unusual. Beware the Ides of March, I think they say, so you never know what's coming around here in North Carolina. We've had snow here in snow camp, believe it or not, in April, and my understanding it might have snowed here when Cornwallis camped here after the Battle of Guilford Courthouse in the American Revolution, and it was in April, and that's why they claim, that's the story here, why they call this snow camp. So I don't know whether that's true or just some folklore there, but anyway, Steve, I'm going to sign on this one, and hope you appreciate your calling today. I hope you have a good weekend there, and have fun with your goodies there, as we do here. Keeps us off the streets and out of the bars here with worrying with this stuff sometimes. And I think W4AX signed, but Steve, I'm going to turn it to him, but I believe he did sign. He had a good signal with his 375, and I didn't get a chance to turn the BFO on, see if it was how stable it was, but you couldn't tell it from the modulation. It didn't seem to be all over the place, so very good voice quality, I thought. So, W4AX, if you're there, it's not Steve, I guess your turn's down. Several people signed out along about that time, so I kind of lost track. W4AX, if you're there. If not Steve, KD3HT, pick it up, and again, thank you for running the net. W4AX, W4HWT, signing but listening, over.
Yep, yeah, I think Mac, I wasn't sure either. I thought he did, but very good, John. Good to hear you. And over to you, Buzz. W3EMD, KD3HT, and then back to me.
KD3HT in the net, W3EMD. Boy, I guess we're getting daylight conditions here as signals are beginning to fade. Well, the lights come up here, and I can see outside, and we've got about, an inch or so of sleet on the ground. Fortunately, it was not freezing rain, so the trees are all okay, and no antennas have come down. But it was just sleet here for several hours. Not like what you've got up there, Dale. I heard you say 8 inches of snow. And I guess Kevin also had the same ice problem over there. But here, just about an inch, and I'm not sure if anything's coming out of the sky right now at all. Just don't know. So comping everybody reasonably well, but again, it's getting light, so that's affecting the signals. I guess in another couple weeks we go back into daylight time, and that'll put us back in the dark and into longer haul propagation. Copying you from out there in Missouri very, very well. I think it's Mike. Looking at my list here, I think Mike. In any case, copying you very well here in eastern New York in the Hudson Valley. So back up to you, Steve. And again, your signal was very, very, very strong as usual, but now is beginning to fade a bit. KD3HT in the net, W3EMD in the Hudson Valley, over.
Alpha Charlie 8, Foxtrot Lima.
Okay, John, got you Alpha Fox 8 Charlie Lima, got you on the list. And, yeah, very good. Buzz on everybody checking out 73. To you, John. He's still listening. Joe's probably tuned off already. To Annette. And Kevin, WA1JJ. Good to have your granddaughter around. I think, Dale, we got pretty much the same amount of moisture. We had 1.25 inches of rain here overnight. And that would have been, depending on the snow load, probably would have been around 8 to 10 inches. We had really light snow in the beginning of the week. Thankfully, it was very light. But it did, quickly was over freezing and started to go away. And it's all pretty much gone already. So it didn't stick around, which is what I was hoping it wouldn't do. But we are going to have somewhat of a muddy season here, as you guys experienced there as well. So with that, let's see. I have Alpha Foxtrot 8 Charlie Lima. Is it Alpha Charlie 8 Foxtrot Lima? It's the morning. Is there anyone else wishing to check in the old military radio net? Please call now.
So WA7 DIA.
Okay, got you, Jack. WA7 DIA. Anyone else wishing to join, please call now. KD3HT. And I did want to mention, Gary, my daughter, grew up driving up here in the northeast Pennsylvania, so, she had experienced snow and ice quite a bit driving, and she lived out right around Charlotte for, a number of years, and she wouldn't go on the road. She would just wait until, like, a few hours after the storm before she would drive, and then just get home. With the cars all over the place, and she says she does the same thing down in Dallas now. She just won't go out when all the crazy people are out there. She just waits for them all to crash, and then she drives right past them. But finding coffee in that condition could be an issue. So AC8 FL WA7DIA, and then up to out to Dave, N9WQ, KW1I, WU2D, K0VUW, up to N1SNG, and W3EMD. That's the rotation. So, go ahead, John. I think I got your call backwards. FL, or I don't know. I'm having troubles this morning. KD3HT.
Yeah, no worries, Steve. KD3HT, this is Alpha Charlie 8 Foxtrot Lima, and I struggle with that or turn letters around regularly, so no problem. So anyway, it's John in Fenton, Michigan. I'm about 25 miles south of Flint, and glad I could make it in. I just got in here a few minutes ago and thought I'd do a one and done. My assignment is to go clear the drive. I opened the garage door up and stuck a measuring stick in. It looked like about 9 inches out there in front of the garage, and so I'm thinking 8 to 10, and that kind of falls in line with what they were forecasting, and it's heavy stuff out there, so I'm going to have to get the snow blower fired up. Actually, the first time I had to use the snow blower this winter, usually I get a 2 or 3 inch blast, and I just clear it off with the small tractor and the blade, so definitely looking like winter out there this morning. So anyway, on the different operating position here with the old East Kid Apache, the TX1 Apache, and the military R392, the little portable tube here in front of me as the receiver, and real good signals, good copy on you, and boy, Buzz was sounding real good. EMD, I could hear the dynamotor running very well in the background, and a good copy from John HWT, I believe, down in North Carolina, if I've got that one right. So anyway, we'll hold it, and listen for a couple, and then I'll be headed up to get the snowblower fired up, hopefully here. So glad I could jump in here. Been away for a couple of weeks between other things going Saturday mornings and some ham swaps, so glad at least got on the list this morning. So thanks for running the net, Steve, and you are sounding real good here. KD3HT from AC8FL, Fenton, Michigan.
Okay, John. Yeah, very good. My snow thrower is not running anymore. My son dropped what remained of I guess about 30 feet of the bottom of an oak tree, landed on it, and it was protected in a protected area, but it wasn't protected enough. And I thought maybe I could rebuild it. When I looked at it, it looks like the engine is actually bent in half, although the piston moves freely in it. I doubt it's got much of a seal left, so that one's going to be off to the scrap. Go ahead, Dave, N9WQ, KD3HT.
Morning to AC8FL, too, with signal mounting here this morning. In fact, all the signals are good here this morning for a change. Must be the season's changing here. It's already daylight here, but it's finished the thing. It's pretty good. Morning to all. And Kilowatt Whiskey 1 before you had that audio issue, but then we came back and straightened out. I think we got one of those plugs that has a movement sign that it always seems to find a way to hold them somewhere. You can't find it. I got anything on a shed like that. They're just they just want to make it fun. That I'm on, for example. About 4 years ago, I was on it one morning running the Midwest Classic Radio Net, and I was using an old electronics DFO running, and I'm sitting here running my big flap, and all of a sudden, the thing goes to dead low, and I thought it blew out. Here, what had happened was the DFO quit working. So it went into oscillation, there's no frequency for it to generate. So it went into reset mode. So I shut it off, and I'm thinking there was, I thought so I look into what's happening. Your last silver here. Took a look at myself at work, and I decided I was going to pull this thing out and look at it. I figured, well, I couldn't find anything in there that was blown up, so I figured I'd just turn it on and see what melts, And lo and behold, the thing worked perfect, so it goes to Kilowatt Whiskey 1 Charlie, I think it was. Got the last letter of your call. My apologies. This is N9WQ in sunny, beautiful downtown North Fond du Lac on the Signal Corps BC 342M receiver and the BC 620E transmitter. Over.
Do you turn it over to me, Steve?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Dale.
Okay, I heard Dave pretty good at the beginning of his transmission, but ran out of propagation, I think. This is KW1I, and wanted to mention, obviously, Mike U2D was coming in very strong up here. Thanks for letting me know about my mic. I don't know what I got to take this Behringer little box mic amp apart. Maybe there's a bad connection on the back of the socket. but inside. So we'll check that out sometime. This has plagued me before, but it's been good for a couple of months. You know the issues chasing a intermittent problem. Kevin from Western Mass, I guess you've got lots of winter out there. And Gary, nice to hear you. You're coming in with a good signal. And Glenn, thanks for the signal report. You're doing great. And we enjoy hearing you on weekdays on the afternoon. Joe is gone, I'm sure. John, W4HWT, sending my greetings to you in the XYL. And Buzz sounded great up here. And we'll miss you if you're down in New York City, but we'll hear you at the end of March when you get back. AC8FL, John, good signal. And Jack was very, very light in here, but we'll hear him on Sunday night probably on the old military radio net on 3558 at 8:30 Eastern. Steve, thanks so much. And we'll be here. I don't know if we'll get around again, but let's see how that works out. KD3HT, this is KW1I in Bow, New Hampshire. 8 inches of snow, and it's coming down. In fact, looking out the window, it looks like a black and white photograph because there's no color. The sky is gray, and the trees are coated with snow, and it's only the pine tree, the trunks of the trees, and some stones showing through the stone wall in the back that are dark. And so it's just a black and white photo here out the window, and it's still coming down. So that back over to WU2D. And you have the same amount of snow down there, don't you, Mike? Over.
WU2D. Yes, I do. I'm looking out my basement window, though, and I can still see out the window. So, it's hard to judge until the window is completely covered and you can't see out. I'm too scared to go outside. I'm just going to make this a snow day here.
K0VUW, go ahead, Gary, KD3HT.
AJ1G.
Gotcha, Chris. Yeah, Gary could have lost me too. K0VUW, K0VUW, go ahead, Gary, KD3HT.
Okay there, Steve. I didn't hear the other fellow. I also was on a different receiver trying to tune the center right when it was turned to me there. Hi. This is Gary K0VUW in Wildwood, Missouri, where we really dodged a bullet. We had terrible storms, super amount of rain, but the temperature had held just above the freezing mark, or we would have had a lot of snow. The worst snowstorm we've had here, and I've lived here 50 years, was on the end of March. We had like 23 inches or something. Just unbelievable. Everybody thought, wow, spring's here, and blah, blah, blah. All heck broke loose. And the gentleman in North Carolina, yeah, you're lucky you stayed home.
talking to that policeman that stopped while I was breaking into the coffee shop. I said, no, I'm from St. Louis area, and I'm used to driving on this. And the gentleman, too, with his daughter, maybe it's you there, Steve, that lived in North Carolina in Dallas. That's the way to do it, is to wait till the traffic gets all cracked up and the news media says stay home. But boy, you could sure tell people didn't. I mean, when I first got out, was just inching along, and I saw a car coming down a hill. Looked like it was doing about 30 miles an hour, coming up to a four-way stop, and I said, oh man, this guy's going to stop. And sure enough, man, he went right through the red light and turned the wrong way and started spinning and everything else. So it was like watching the Dodgem cars at the carnival or something. But it takes, people that aren't used to it, it's a whole new experience. And the biggest thing that mistake they make is when you start to slide, they turn away from the slide rather than turn it into it. And that gets them really whipping around. But I felt sorry for the cars that were parked, because there were a lot of parked cars on the side of the street. You lose control, they spin out and then wham into some good guy's parked car, not doing anything. Not early, he was sound asleep probably. And on the tags, I wasn't sure what the gentleman was saying about the radiation tags. These had little tags that went under the meters, and they were sensors. That if in the nuclear submarine, I guess, if any radiation was leaking, these things would change color. And I just wasn't thinking. I just, didn't think beyond. I don't want to. What I need, what's this radiation stuff? I'll get that out. Messing up the radio. And we'll see here today. So it's a big day. One of my grandsons is a really excellent swimmer, and he's only 9 years old, but they got him racing against 14-year-olds. And he has a big meet today, like 10:30, I think, something like that. So we'll be going to that. And that's about it. So everybody's coming in great. The 610E is sounding super. And that's the way it usually works. I'll have something break down that one of my homebrew amps or something that you can deal with 3,500, 4,000 volts. I'll set that aside till I am in the mood and mentally going to work on it. And when I get into it, I finally find that it wasn't as bad as a fuse or something, but it wasn't anything real major. It just took a while to find it. My problem is on my homebrews, I'm too much of an A personality that when I get building something, I used to start on a Friday night when I have it done by Monday morning, if I had all the parts. And I wouldn't draw schematics on the back of an envelope or something and go, oh yeah, okay, and this and that. You get the thing all finished, and you go, man, I should have put some drawings. That'll be all right. And then when it finally breaks, you got to rethink what the heck you built. Anyway, let me move it along here. Everybody have a great weekend. I'll make this my final. And thanks for doing the next Steve for a great job. N1 NFG Kilowatt Zero Victor Uncle Willie.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, sounds like you got an Olympic competitor there in the work, in the making. Very good. And yeah, the high voltages there. Yeah, you have to really be in the wide awake for that. That's for sure. Yeah, I've had my fair share of bites from certain parts of the rigs here. But anyway, good morning to Chris, AJ1G. It's a nice signal here. Dale, you're 40 over here, so that was a full gliding experience, that's for sure. And Steve, thanks for running the net this morning. Great job. Attendance good. Very, very nice signals. It was a little noisy earlier on, but things have seemed to clear out a bit, and that's just fine. Not complaining at all. And Steve, yeah, too bad on the snowblower there. Well, you're going to have to get that new truck of yours and put a seat on the front grill, and he can sit in that with a snow shovel, and you can just drive around the property there, and he can shovel as you go there. So, yeah. Wow. Well, anyway, a good shot on the tree falling there. Thankfully, nobody was operating a snowblower at the time. But anyway, I'm going to keep it short here. This will be my one and done, and well, yeah, it'll be my last. Great net this morning. A lot of good signals coming in, and of course, net control, KD3HT, making it all possible there. So back to you, Steve. I think Joe is signed. I'm not sure, but I'll let you take the reins here. I know Chris is really checking here. KD3HT N1SNG. We'll be listening up. Have a safe day.
You okay, Glenn? Yep, Buzz is still there. W3EMD. Go ahead, Buzz.
This Whiskey 3 Echo Mike Delta, and I heard N1S check in there. Very good all around. Just say good morning to everyone. Again, looking out on the window here in full daylight, it's all looks beautiful, but it's really just an inch of ice or hail, sleet anyway. And but the trees and everything are okay, so there was no freezing rain, and that was always what we fear the most here. Copying everybody still pretty much Q5. So again, I won't be here for the next 2 weeks. We'll be away in New York City and back in 3 weeks. Over to you, Steve, and I think I heard N1S check in. KD3HT, thanks for running the net. W3EMD, over. Good morning.
Okay, Buzz. Big mute button I can see without my glasses. And yeah, very good. I'll have a safe time in New York City, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks. We'll be an hour earlier, I guess, although our clocks will be the same. Is it an hour earlier? No, it's an hour later. But yeah, it will be okay. And everybody that's checking out, 73, Glenn, 73. And we'll pick up the new guys and see if there's anyone else for the last round here. I got Chris, AJ1G, Larry, N1S. Is there anyone else wishing to check into the old military radio net? This is KD3HT.